time to call your lawyer.
Used to be the expression we would use whenever we talk about making a pay phone call. We'd drop a dime. And then, of course, pay phone calls went to 25 cents, eventually 50 cents. And now they don't exist at all. Still, we're making that phone call to our friend and attorney for the injured, Bruce L. Scheiner, to ask him about today's question. Before we get into that, let me remind you what you're about to hear is just general legal conversation. You simply can't get a face-to-face recommendation or advice through the radio. I encourage you to actually speak to a legal professional. Now, Bruce says some good advice for everybody in any legal situation is don't make any statements, don't let anyone record any conversations, and for heaven's sakes, don't sign anything until you have seen a legal professional. I'll tell you how to contact the office of Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates for a free initial consultation in a moment. If you're in some kind of a legal snarl, that might be helpful to you. But first, let me introduce to you, and please help me make welcome, attorney for the injured, Bruce L. Scheiner. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Todd. How are you today?
Just fine, and how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Not everybody in the listening audience is doing well. So we've got some new email this week. I'd like to take the opportunity, as long as we got your attention, Bruce, to read another one to you and see what you think.
I'm ready.
All right, let's dive right into it. And this one starts off, I guess this is somebody writing on behalf of their stepdad. It says, my stepdad was walking across the street, not in a crosswalk. The nearest one is almost a mile away. He's disabled and has trouble walking. After checking if the road was clear, he started walking and was clipped by a car halfway across. My stepdad was taken by ambulance to the hospital, and FHP saying he was at fault for not using a crosswalk. The hospital did a head CT. The next day, he followed up at his doctor and was told he had bruised ribs. A few days later, he then found out his foot was broken and will need surgery to repair his foot. I mean, this just got worse day after day. My stepdad is under the impression, since FHP said it was his fault, the driver had no responsibility for any medical bills. He's on a fixed income and can barely pay the copay. He needs surgery, but is afraid to get it done due to the cost. Is there anything that can be done? Please ask Bruce. Okay, Bruce, it's all in your lap now. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's another great question. First of all, under our Florida no-fault law, the gentleman would be entitled to collect up to $10,000 towards his medical bills under personal injury protection. If he had his own vehicle or lived in a household that had a vehicle, then he would be able to get the personal injury protection, or we call it PIP insurance, from his own insurance company or the household he lived in.
Oh.
If he wasn't entitled to insurance because he didn't own a car and didn't live in a household that had a car, then he would be entitled to the PIP insurance from the car that struck him.
I see.
That's first thing. The second thing is, the Florida Highway Patrolman that investigated the scene, first of all, he didn't see the accident. So his opinion isn't the end-all and be-all. And what I mean by that is you have to take the negligence, if any, of the driver of the car. Was the driver of the car speeding? Was he not paying attention? If he was doing something negligent, then this person would be able to or have a right to bring a claim against the driver of the car. Also, facts that we don't know is sometimes there's a property owner that has trees or shrubbery that block the vision of the motorist.
Oh, yes.
And that could be a negligent condition, and the property owner could possibly be liable under certain conditions. So there's a possible cause of action against the driver of the vehicle if he was speeding or not paying attention.
Right.
And there's a possible cause of action against the property owner if there were shrubs blocking the vision of the motorist.
Wow, a couple of different angles we could look into here. seems to me like he really needs to get a consultation with somebody and get some professional advice on this.
He has nothing to lose and everything to gain by seeing a lawyer.
All right, terrific. Hopefully this changes the perspective for this email writer and the stepdad. Once again, Bruce, it is a pleasure to be able to lean on you when we get these kinds of questions. Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to talking to you next Wednesday.
Well, I look forward to it, too, and I look forward to answering these questions.
Absolutely. And thanks again. Let's all give it up for Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, and the Ask the Lawyer question of the day. Now, if you would like to submit a question for future consideration, simply go to our website, kickscountry929.com. If you have a legal situation in which you're most uncomfortable and you don't want to wait to see if your question gets answered on the radio, I wouldn't blame you for that. Call the Port Charlotte office of Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates directly. Let's just go right through the middleman and get right to the point of getting you the advice you need. The number is 941-743-7777. They offer free initial consultation, so as you heard Bruce say a second ago, you got nothing to lose. 743-7777. Don't let anyone take away your rights. Count on Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates, and tell them Todd sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.